Your mornings are the key to your life. If you control them, you control everything else. Think about this. Every day begins with a moment when you decide, or you let the world decide for you, how you're going to live it. In those first minutes, you set the course of your thoughts, your energy, and your actions. And what many don't know is that the Stoics discovered this truth more than 2,000 years ago. For Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca, morning wasn't just a simple transition between sleep and work. It was the training ground where they prepared their minds for any battle of the day. They understood that if you wanted to live well, you first had to think well. And to think well, you had to start well. Today, modern science confirms it. The way you begin your day determines your level of focus, your capacity to handle stress, and your motivation to act. It's not about stuffing your morning with 100 tasks, but about adopting simple yet powerful habits that align your mind with your values. In this video, I'm going to show you 10 Stoic lessons that, if you practice them every morning, will give you absolute command over your mind and your day. They're practices as ancient as they are effective, proven by philosophers who lived in times far tougher than ours. And today, more than ever, they can help you be strong, serene, and focused. Get ready, because after hearing this, you will never see your mornings the same way again. The price of starting your day badly. Imagine this. The alarm goes off and the first thing you do is grab your phone. Without thinking, you open social media. You start seeing photos, news messages, and in less than 5 minutes, your mind is already full of comparisons, worries, and distractions you didn't ask for. You haven't even gotten out of bed, and you've already lost control of your day. When you don't have a conscious start to the day, you live in reaction mode. Every notification, every email, every opinion from others begins to dictate your mood. If the message is pleasant, you feel good. If it's negative, your energy plummets. In both cases, you have handed the helm of your mind to something external. The Stoics would have seen this as a daily tragedy. Allowing your thoughts, the one thing you can truly control, to be invaded before you have the chance to order them. Epictetus put it clearly, it's not things that disturb us, but our opinions about them. And if your opinion of the day begins by being borrowed from others, it's not your day, it's theirs. That lack of early control creates a snowball. You start the day with mental disorder, and that turns into impulsive decisions, lack of focus, and premature exhaustion. Your mind spends the whole day putting out fires instead of building something important. And it's not just productivity you lose, it's peace of mind. You feel dragged along, as if everything that happens were outside your control. That is the invisible price of lacking a morning ritual. You become a slave to whatever the world puts in front of you. Think about it. Morning is like a switch. If you turn it on with intention, the whole system works better. If you turn it on chaotically, the whole day will have flickers, failures, and power cuts. That's why the Stoics began their days by preparing mentally for whatever might come. They didn't let the first voice they heard be the one from the outside world. They made sure it was their own. In this video, I'm going to show you how you too can take that control. Because if you master your mornings, you don't just control your day, you control your life. For the Stoics, every morning was a new mental training. It wasn't simply about opening your eyes and starting to move. It was about waking up with purpose. In Stoic philosophy, there is a key concept, prohairesis. It means your capacity to decide, to choose how to respond to what happens, even before it happens. And morning was the perfect time to strengthen that capacity, because there, before the world barges in, you still have the space to decide how you want to live the day. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, wrote, "When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, 'Today I shall meet with busybodies, the ungrateful, the arrogant, deceivers, the envious, and the rude, but none of this can harm me.' It wasn't pessimism, it was preparation. Marcus Aurelius knew that if he began the day anticipating reality and not fantasizing about a perfect world, he could keep calm and clarity when those moments arrived. Epictetus advised something similar. In everything you do, keep in mind what the goal is. If your goal is to live with virtue, every morning action must align with that. Seneca, for his part, saw dawn as a reminder that time is a non-renewable resource. Make use of every hour, do not trust in tomorrow. Today, modern science backs up what they intuited. Neuroscience studies show that the way you start the day conditions your brain chemistry for hours. If you begin with calm and direction, you activate areas related to focus and emotional regulation. If you begin in chaos and stress, your body shifts into defense mode, releasing cortisol and priming your mind to react, not to create. That's why the 10 lessons we're going to see aren't just pretty tips to improve your mornings. They are daily trainings for your mind, designed so you take control before others take it for you. Each lesson is a brick that builds your mental fortress, and like any fortress, it isn't raised in a single day. It's built with repetition, discipline, and patience. You don't have to be perfect, you have to be consistent. In the end, living like a Stoic in the morning isn't about following rigid rules, but about remembering a simple truth. The day doesn't start when the clock says so. It starts when your mind is ready to live it. Lesson 1. Wake with intention. Decide who you will be before your feet touch the floor. The most powerful moment of your day doesn't happen when you send your first email, nor when you hit your first target. It happens in that silent instant when your eyes open and your mind begins to work. There, in those seconds, you have a unique chance to decide who you will be today. The Stoics understood that life is the result of thousands of small choices, and the first choice of the day is perhaps the most important. Are you going to live automatically, reacting to whatever happens, or are you going to live consciously, acting according to your values? This is where the practice of waking with intention comes in. Before you get up, stay in bed a few seconds more. Breathe deeply and ask yourself, what is my purpose for today? How do I want to respond to the challenges I encounter? What kind of person will I be, even when things don't go the way I expect? Marcus Aurelius did this every day. In his meditations, he reminds himself, today I will act with justice, moderation, and courage no matter the circumstances. It wasn't a pretty phrase to hype himself up. It was mental programming to ensure that whatever happened, he had already chosen his attitude. Visualization is key. Imagine your day as if it were a movie and you were the protagonist. Visualize yourself making decisions calmly, speaking respectfully, fulfilling what you set out to do. It's not about fantasizing about a perfect day, but about training your mind to respond the way you want to respond. Science confirms it. Studies in sports psychology show that visualizing desired behaviors before action increases the likelihood of carrying them out correctly. Your brain creates neural paths that make that response easier when the real moment comes. A practical example. If you have a tough meeting today, picture yourself entering with a firm posture, speaking clearly and listening patiently. Repeat that scene in your mind before you get up, and when the time comes, your body and mind will know what to do. Here's a Stoic exercise to apply tomorrow morning. Before you open your phone, close your eyes and take 3 deep breaths. Ask yourself, what quality do I need most today? Patience, discipline, courage, gratitude. Visualize 3 moments in the day where you will apply that quality. Rise with the firm intention to keep it. The difference between doing this and not doing it is enormous. If you wake without intention, the world will impose its own. Ads, messages, others' urgencies. If you wake with intention, you set the direction and the rest of the day adjusts to your pace. Remember, you can't control everything that happens, but you can control who you are in the middle of what happens, and that begins before your feet touch the floor. Lesson 2. Conscious breathing. Master your mind, one breath at a time. Before the day throws its first demands at you, give yourself 2 minutes. 2 minutes to bring order to your mind, calm your body, and prepare for whatever comes. You don't need incense, special music, or a perfect place. You only need your breath. The Stoics understood that self-mastery begins with mastery of the mind, and that the mind leans on the body. When your breathing is agitated, your mind is too. When your breathing is slow and deep, your mind clears. Although we don't find a breathing technique in their texts in the modern style, Stoic philosophy is full of references to maintaining physical calm as the doorway to mental calm. Epictetus said, "It's not things that upset us, but the opinions we have about them." And nothing helps more to review those opinions than stopping and breathing before reacting. Here's a Stoic conscious breathing exercise to practice every morning. Sit upright on your bed or in a chair, feet grounded. Close your eyes and bring attention to your breath without changing it yet. Inhale through your nose, counting to 4. Hold the air, counting to 4. Exhale slowly through your mouth, counting to 6. Pause and begin again. Repeat this cycle for 2 minutes. Don't fight the thoughts that arise. Observe them and let them pass, like clouds moving across the sky. Why does it work? Modern science explains that this type of breathing activates the parasympathetic nervous system, which reduces stress and regulates heart rate. It's like pressing the reset button in your mind before the day begins. An example. Imagine that upon waking, you remember an important task you forgot yesterday. The automatic reaction would be to panic and rush to fix it immediately. But if you apply this breathing first, you change your body chemistry, reduce anxiety, and face the problem with clarity instead of blind urgency. In the Stoic context, this breathing pause is an act of personal sovereignty. It's your way of saying, "The day doesn't begin until I decide. I set the rhythm, not my worries." Tomorrow, when your alarm rings, before checking messages or thinking about what you have to do, sit, breathe, and remember. Each inhalation is a chance to center yourself. Each exhalation is a chance to release what you don't need. In just 2 minutes, you will have trained more than your lungs. You will have trained your ability to live with intention and calm. Lesson 3. Stoic gratitude. Nothing is yours forever. For the Stoics, living gratefully wasn't a trend or a simple positive attitude. It was a way to train the mind to value life as it is, taking nothing for granted. Marcus Aurelius summed it up clearly. Do not act as if you were going to live 10,000 years. Death hangs over you. While you live, while it is possible, be good. In other words, everything you have today, your health, your relationships, your opportunities, is a temporary loan. There is no guarantee it will still be there tomorrow. This perspective isn't pessimistic, but deeply liberating. When you remember that nothing is assured, you begin to value what you have in this very instant. That hot coffee, the voice of a loved one, the ability to walk, the simple act of breathing. Stoic gratitude is different from the superficial gratitude often preached today. It's not only about saying thank you when things go well. It's about training your eye to recognize value even in what seems small or routine. Seneca put it this way: "He who receives a benefit with gratitude repays the first installment." That is, when you are grateful, you are already giving something back to the world. Your attention, your appreciation, your respect. Morning Stoic exercise. Each day before you begin your tasks, write in a notebook 3 things you're grateful for. Don't chase big achievements or spectacular moments. It can be something as simple as the silence of this morning, the chance to learn something new today, The message I received yesterday from a friend. The key is that as you write, you pause a few seconds to feel that gratitude. Close your eyes, breathe, and let the emotions settle. Why do it? Because gratitude activates brain areas associated with motivation, empathy, and joy. Various studies show that people who practice daily gratitude report less stress, better sleep, and greater life satisfaction. In Stoic terms, this habit prepares you for two things: to enjoy fully what you have now, to accept with serenity if tomorrow you no longer have it. A practical example. Imagine that today you deeply value your quiet morning time. If tomorrow that time is interrupted, you won't be as frustrated because you already enjoyed it while you had it. Every time you write your three things, you're strengthening a mental muscle the Stoics cultivated daily, seeing life as a gift, not as a right. Tomorrow, when you finish your conscious breathing, take your notebook and write those three things. You'll be surprised how this simple act can change the tone of your entire day. Lesson 4. Mental preparation for adversity. The day won't surprise you if you anticipate it. One of the most powerful Stoic habits was mental preparation for what might go wrong. Not as a way to live in fear, but as a strategy to live with calm. They called this practice premeditatio malorum, literally the premeditation of evils. It consisted of imagining, at the start of the day, which challenges, discomforts, or even losses might occur, and training the mind to accept them with serenity. Marcus Aurelius did it every morning. In his meditations he wrote, "When you wake up, say, 'Today I will meet meddling, ingratitude, arrogance, deceit, envy, and rudeness. I cannot be angry with them because they are so out of ignorance of good and evil.'" This line isn't pessimism, it's preparation. If you expect everything to go perfectly, any setback will hit you as an unpleasant surprise. If you accept that imperfection is part of the day, nothing can knock you off center. In the modern world, premeditatio malorum can look like this. Upon waking, spend a minute visualizing 3 possible obstacles you might face today. Perhaps a difficult meeting, a delay in transportation, an unpleasant comment from someone. Then imagine your ideal response in each case. Not from anger or frustration, but from calm and self-control. For example, if there's a delay, I'll use the time to listen to an inspiring podcast. If someone criticizes me, I'll listen carefully before responding. This exercise doesn't remove problems, but it does remove the power they have over you. Because when they arrive, they don't surprise you. You had already lived them in your mind and decided how to respond. Current psychology supports this technique. Studies show that anticipating challenges and mentally rehearsing your response reduces anxiety and improves coping ability. It's like practicing a sport. The more you train a movement, the more naturally it comes when you need it. A practical example. Imagine you're presenting a project at work today. In your premeditatio malorum, you think, "It's possible I'll be interrupted with critical questions." Instead of seeing it as an attack, you decide that, if it happens, you'll take it as a chance to explain your ideas better. When it actually happens, your reaction will be calm and centered. Exercise for tomorrow. Before getting up, think of 3 things that could go wrong today. Jot them down quickly in a notebook. Note beside each the serene response you'll apply. Close your eyes and visualize yourself acting that way. Remember, adversity is inevitable, but unnecessary suffering is optional. The Stoics didn't seek to eliminate problems, but to eliminate the chaos's power over their minds. If you practice this mental preparation every morning, you'll find that even difficult days weigh less on you. Lesson 5. Philosophical or reflective reading. Feed your mind before you feed your body. How you nourish your mind in the morning determines the quality of your thoughts for the rest of the day. If the first mental meal you take in is social media, alarming news, or chaotic messages, it's no wonder your mind starts revved up, scattered, or even anxious. The Stoics understood that to live well, you had to think well first. And to think well, you had to feed your mind with elevated ideas. That's why they devoted time each day to reflect on principles, virtues, and universal truths. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations at daybreak, not to publish a book, but to remind himself how he should live. Epictetus in the Enchiridion offered direct and simple instructions to maintain calm and virtue in any situation. Seneca wrote letters to Lucilius full of counsel about the use of time, inner wealth, and freedom. Today, you can adopt this same practice by dedicating 10 or 15 minutes each morning to reading something that lifts your mind above daily trivialities. It can be a fragment of Stoic philosophy, a spiritual text, reflective poetry, or even literature that awakens in you a broader vision of life. The goal is not to read much, but to read deeply. A single well-understood line can guide your entire day. For example, reading in the morning, you can't control what happens to you, only how you respond. Epictetus. And keeping that idea present can change how you face a problem at work, a family conflict, or an unexpected event. Here's a sample routine. After your conscious breathing and gratitude, open a book you chose beforehand. Read a brief passage, half a page or a short chapter. Close the book and reflect. How can I apply this idea today? If you have a notebook, write your interpretation in a few lines. Modern science also supports this practice. Studies on morning habits show that the content you consume early has a disproportionate impact on your mental state for hours. Reading something inspiring first thing improves focus, motivation, and resilience to stress. A practical example. Suppose today you read in Meditations that pain is inevitable, but suffering depends on your judgment. Later, if you face an annoyance or discomfort, you'll remember you can accept the physical sensation without adding mental drama. Exercise for tomorrow. Choose a book or collection of texts that inspires you. Mark a reading point and leave the book ready on your table or next to your coffee. Read a short passage and repeat the main idea in your mind as you move through your morning. Remember, just as you wouldn't feed your body junk food upon waking, you shouldn't feed your mind toxic thoughts either. Devote these minutes to nourishing it with wisdom, and you'll see the rest of your day take a firmer, clearer direction. Lesson 6. Writing and Self-Inquiry. Write to govern yourself. For the Stoics, writing wasn't a pastime nor an art reserved for poets. It was a tool of self-government. Marcus Aurelius wrote Meditations as a personal journal to remind himself how he should act, what to avoid, and how to stay firm in his principles even as Emperor of Rome. In the modern world, the mind fills up quickly with noise, messages, notifications, worries. Writing in the morning is like cleaning the window before looking out. It lets you see clearly. The Stoic practice of daily writing can follow a simple structure. What you will do today, key actions you want to complete, what you will avoid, attitudes, habits, or temptations that could derail you, how you will act, the tone, virtue, or mental disposition you will cultivate. For example, what I will do today, finish the report before noon, train for 30 minutes, call my mother. What I will avoid, checking social media before work, eating from anxiety, responding impulsively to criticism. How I will act, with patience, listening more than I speak. This structure turns your journal into a personal compass. It's not about writing pages and pages, but about recording the essentials to guide your day. Seneca said, "Nothing except virtue should be valued more than self-awareness." Writing is precisely an act of awareness. The main benefit of this practice is mental clarity. When you define your intentions in writing, You reduce confusion and increase the probability of acting in line with your values. Also, over time, the journal becomes an archive of your personal evolution. You can reread old entries and see what obstacles you've overcome, what patterns repeat, and where you still need work. Contemporary psychology confirms that reflective writing improves emotional self-regulation and productivity. In other words, writing each morning helps you stay focused and less reactive to external chaos. Practical exercise. When you finish your morning reading, open your notebook and answer these 3 questions. What will I do today to move closer to my goals? What will I avoid today so I don't stray? How do I want to act even if things don't go as I expect? Spend only 5 minutes. Don't seek perfection, seek sincerity. With time, you'll notice that starting the day by writing is like signing a contract with yourself. You won't always fulfill it 100%, but the simple act of putting it on paper increases your commitment. Remember, a mind without direction is like a ship adrift. The Stoic journal is the helm that every morning reminds you where you want to go. Lesson 7. Conscious physical movement. Move your body, clear your mind. For the Stoics, body and mind weren't 2 separate entities. What affects one immediately affects the other. Epictetus, who lived with a physical disability, understood well that although the body had limitations, its care directly influenced mental strength. Today, neuroscience confirms it. Moving in the morning doesn't just wake up your muscles, it oxygenates your brain, reduces anxiety, and improves mental clarity. And we're not talking about intense workouts or hitting the gym at 6 a.m. It's about conscious movement, designed to activate your energy and connect your body with your mind. Imagine your body as a fountain. If it stays stagnant, it gets murky. If it flows, it stays clear and clean. Morning movement is that flow that renews your inner system. You can devote between 5 and 10 minutes to a simple practice that includes gentle stretches. Upon waking, your body is contracted after hours in the same position. Stretching the muscles of neck, back, and legs helps release tension. Light walking or in-place marching. If you can go outside, walking a few minutes in natural light exposes your body to morning light, which regulates your biological clock. Active breathing. Combine movement with deep breaths. Inhale as you raise your arms, exhale as you lower them, synchronizing the rhythm. The Stoics practiced physical activities like marching, military training, or resistance exercises not only for physical health but as mental discipline. Marcus Aurelius, despite his responsibilities as emperor, made sure to maintain his physical condition, understanding that a strong body better withstands life's demands. This kind of morning movement has another benefit. It breaks mental inertia. If you feel sluggish or weighed down by heavy thoughts upon waking, physical activation sends a clear signal to your brain that the day has begun. It's like starting an engine. The first spark is small, but it sets everything in motion. 5-minute routine example. Minute 1. Inhale deeply through the nose while raising your arms to the sky. Exhale slowly as you lower them. Repeat 5 times at minutes 2 and 3. Walk or jog lightly in place, moving arms and legs in a coordinated way. Minute 4. Stretch your neck to the sides and roll your shoulders backward and forward. Minute 5. Hold a plank or strength posture for 20 to 30 seconds to activate your core and posture. Exercise for tomorrow. Before breakfast or checking your phone, spend these minutes moving with full awareness of your breathing and of each muscle that activates. It's not a punishment or an obligation. It's a gift you give yourself to face the day with strength and clarity. Remember, Stoicism isn't just a philosophy to think, it's a philosophy to live. And living well also begins by moving well. Lesson 8. Reminder of mortality. Memento mori. The Stoics had a practice that, at first glance, might seem somber, but is in fact deeply liberating, memento mori, which means remember that you will die. Marcus Aurelius expressed it like this: "Do not act as if you were going to live 10,000 years. Death is upon you. While you live, while it is possible, be good." Why start the morning thinking about death? Not to fill yourself with fear, but to empty yourself of distractions. Remembering that life is finite puts everything in perspective. Little annoyances matter less, other people's opinions lose weight, and the opportunities to live with purpose become urgent. Imagine this day were your last. Would you keep wasting hours in pointless arguments? Would you complain so much about trivial delays? Would you pass up the chance to tell someone you love them? Awareness of mortality doesn't lead to despair, but to clarity. It reminds you that time is your most valuable resource and you can't afford to waste it. Morning memento mori practice. After your physical movement, sit for a few seconds in silence. Close your eyes and imagine that this day is a gift not guaranteed tomorrow. Ask yourself, what can I do today so that if it were my last day, I would feel at peace with my life? Choose a concrete action that brings you closer to that answer. Seneca explained it precisely. We begin to live when we understand that life is short. Moreover, modern psychology supports this practice. Studies show that remembering life's finitude increases focus on what truly matters and reduces procrastination. When you know time is limited, you choose better how and with whom you use it. Applying memento mori in the morning is like tuning an instrument before playing it. It sets your mind to the right frequency for the rest of the day. It's not a morbid thought, it's a call to life. Tomorrow, before you let the world flood your mind with noise, give yourself a few seconds to remember this truth. You'll find that you start the day not only with more focus, but also with more gratitude for every moment. Lesson 9. Definition of specific intentions. Direct your day before it directs you. For the Stoics, life shouldn't be lived like a drifting boat, but like a vessel with a firm helm and a clear course. Defining intentions in the morning is that helm. It marks the route and prevents the currents of distractions, others' demands, or unexpected events from pulling you away from what really matters. Epictetus summed it up like this: if you don't know to which port you are sailing, no wind is favorable. In practice, defining intentions means identifying 1 to 3 key actions you want to accomplish during the day. It's not about filling an endless to-do list, but about wisely choosing what, if fulfilled, will make your day worthwhile. These intentions should meet 3 criteria. Be concrete. It's not enough to be more productive. Specify what that means today. Write 500 words for the project or call 3 clients. Be aligned with your values. Ask yourself, does this contribute to the person I want to be? Be achievable in the context of the day. If your schedule is already full, choose goals proportional to your time and energy. Practical example. Suppose your values are personal growth, connection with others, and health. Your intentions for today could be: read 20 pages of a book that inspires me. Call a friend to reconnect. Do 30 minutes of physical exercise. Defining these intentions each morning works like a contract with yourself. When the day gets complicated, and there will always be surprises, you can return to this list and ask, am I dedicating my time to what matters, or have I been dragged by the urgent? The Stoics understood that clarity in action is key to mental serenity. Marcus Aurelius wrote every morning about how he wanted to behave and what he should avoid. That act of self-affirmation reminded him that, although he couldn't control everything that happened, he could control what he chose to do. Modern psychology supports this habit. Setting clear goals increases the likelihood of achieving them. because the mind has a concrete map of what to seek and prioritize. It's like giving your brain a navigation system that filters out the irrelevant. Exercise for tomorrow. After your gratitude or memento mori practice, take your notebook. Write from 1 to 3 concrete intentions for the day. Before bed, review whether you fulfilled them. If not, analyze what prevented it and how to improve tomorrow. Defining intentions isn't a cage that limits your freedom, but a lighthouse that guides you. Because when you know where you want to go, every step makes sense, and each day becomes a personal victory. Lesson 10. Service and contribution. Live also for others. In Stoicism, virtue is measured not only by what one does for oneself, but by what one contributes to the world. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself constantly, "What is not good for the hive is not good for the bee." This simple metaphor sums up a profound principle. Your well-being is tied to the well-being of others. We do not live in isolation. Our actions, words, and attitudes leave a mark. That's why starting the morning with the question, "Whom can I help today?" radically changes the direction of your day. This habit pulls you out of the ego trap, the thinking centered on my schedule, my problems, my goals. By widening your gaze, you discover opportunities to contribute that not only benefit others, but strengthen your own sense of purpose. Simple examples of daily service. Listen actively to someone who needs it. Send an encouraging message to a friend. Share useful knowledge with a coworker. Do a small volunteer action in your community. The key is that the action doesn't have to be grand or costly. What matters is that it's intentional. In Seneca's words, there is nothing more beautiful than helping another when he does not expect it. This principle also has scientific backing. Well-being studies show that helping others reduces stress, strengthens the immune system, and increases the feeling of happiness. It's what some psychologists call the helper's high, a state of well-being generated by altruistic acts. Morning practice. Before leaving home or starting your workday, think of a person or cause you can contribute to today. Define how you will do it. A call, a favor, a message, a gesture. Keep that intention in mind as you move through your day. This exercise also prepares you to face adversity. When your purpose transcends your personal well-being, difficulties feel lighter because you are not the sole center of your universe. The Stoic knows that his life has meaning not only by what he achieves, but by what he leaves to others. Imagine starting each day with a double aim: to fulfill your own intentions, to improve, even minimally, someone else's life. This is the perfect balance between personal growth and human connection. And here is where Stoicism becomes more than a philosophy of individual strength. It becomes a bridge toward a stronger, more virtuous community. Now that we've covered these 10 practices, it's time to reveal the essential. Mastering your morning isn't simply about doing more things. It's about mastering yourself. Every habit we've seen, from waking with intention, breathing consciously, practicing gratitude, anticipating adversity, feeding the mind with reading, writing to clarify your thoughts, moving the body, remembering your mortality, defining intentions, and serving others, is not an isolated list of good things to do. It is an integrated system of mental and emotional strength. A shield and a sword to step into the world each day prepared, centered, and purposeful. The Stoics understood perfectly. If you want to live well, you cannot let the first hour of your day be dictated by notifications, worries, or chance. The first hour is yours, and what you do with it determines whether you'll spend the day reacting or leading. Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca had no social media, emails, or phone alarms. But they had something we can also have: conscious rituals that align mind, body, and soul before facing any challenge. The real revelation is that when you practice this every morning, you don't just improve your productivity or your mood. You become someone imperturbable, someone who responds instead of reacts, someone who lives in coherence with their values even under pressure. The modern world tells us that to succeed, you must do more, run more, pack your schedule. Stoicism reminds us that to live with excellence, you must first own yourself. And the most powerful moment to forge that mastery is right when the day begins. It's not about adding weight to your routine, but about giving it structure, direction, and meaning. Because when you win the battle of the morning, the rest of the day is practically won. Your morning is your life in miniature. Think about this. Your morning is like a scale model of your entire life. If it starts with purpose, focus, and calm, it's very likely the rest of the day will flow that way. But if it starts with chaos, reactivity, and distraction, that pattern will repeat until nightfall. That's why the Stoics teach us that self-mastery begins at dawn. You don't need to change everything at once. Today we've seen 10 practices that combined form a powerful mental and emotional armor. But even applying only 3 of them can make a huge difference in how you feel, think, and act each day. The challenge I propose is simple. For the next 7 days, choose at least 3 Stoic lessons from what we covered today and apply them every morning. No excuses. Observe how your mood changes, your capacity to concentrate, and your way of reacting to problems. Maybe you start by waking with intention, practicing gratitude and defining your daily objectives. Or perhaps you prefer the conscious breathing exercise, the reminder of your mortality, and an act of service for someone. It doesn't matter which combination you choose. What matters is that you do it consistently. Remember, we're not talking about productivity for productivity's sake. We're talking about living with intention, about ceasing to be a slave to the external and beginning to lead your life from the inside out. So here's your call to action. Comment below, which of these practices will you try tomorrow? And if you're up for it, come back in 7 days and tell us what changes you've noticed. Your experience can inspire others to take control of their mornings and, with it, their lives. Because the truth is, you can't control everything that will happen to you today. But you can control how your day begins, and that, many times, changes everything.